it's too warm. So, hi everyone, welcome to the second episode of my Wurzeliebe knitting podcast. I'm Lana and I'm so happy that you are here with me. Yes, I'm very lucky. Some people are joined on the last episode, the first one, and it makes me so much fun that I record today one more. Yes, today is Wednesday afternoon, and we have the end of November. Last weekend we have the first advent, and it was very nice here. We have had our first snow, and yes, it was magical. All so bright and light, and yes. Yeah, today I have some things here to show you. And first I want to talk about my Shifty pullover from Andrea Mowry, and talk a little bit about yarn choice and yes. So I knit the size 2. And it is a very tight gauge, but on this time I have knitted very, very tight. So my gauge was even tighter than recommended. And so I work some parts longer. Yes, but first the yarn. I use Zauberball Wolle von Schoppelwolle. That's a German company here, and it's a mix of wool and polyamide. And yes, it has a very, now I think it has a very plastic feeling to it, and this is the garment that I think I won't use in 10 years, because I can very easily overheat it in this, because there's plastic in it, and the wool is also treated with superwash, and I don't like the process. I am very much into rustic and natural wool, and yes, because wool, I have some thoughts on this last week, some very strong thoughts, but maybe I talk about it later. Yes. Okay, I use 4 colors. I included this also in the description box below, so if you want to knit it as this one, you could. I choose Herbstwind, the colorway, for the background color, and this is a color which goes from gray, white into brown. So it's a 2-ply, and these 2 plies are in different color and mixed differently together throughout the yarn. Yes, and brown, yes, I said, then gray, red, white, and so on. And my contrast colors are here up, Orangerie. It's more consistent colorway, I would say. It has some oranges and pinks and yellows and whites. I like this very much. but I don't wear it so often. Yes, so here, and then it turned to Marsexperiment. No, yeah, yes. That is some turquoise and blue, and it has also some orange, so it fade in each other. And then on the upper side, on the lower side, I have Lockstoff, and this I don't use it. It has some blues and greens. Yes, some blues and greens, and the greenish side of the yarn, if I could say it. I like it very much. Here, but with the contrast color red, it from far it looks brown, but it's very nice. And yes, so I think it don't fits me very well when I'm moving the pullover crinkles up and yes, maybe that's because I have some issues with gauge. I don't know. Because I'm off gauge. I knit the yoke one section larger because I thought so I have more room, but it turns out that the pullover is very fitted on my bust. I think I have some negative ease and the arms are on point, I would say. And because of this, when I lift my arms, the whole pullover lifts up, and this is because the armholes are much deeper. No, not much, maybe an inch. Yes, but yeah, I like the pullover, so yes, I like it. And I wear it. It also pills a little bit, but I don't care about it. And yes, but okay, I'm in my teens. I wear a lot of color, a lot, and so much. How do you say? Fabric with patterns. Yes, and now I like color, yes, but more of the art side of things and not so much on me. I have clothes with colors, yes, but what I'm knitting now, it's more neutrals and earthy tones and sheep colors. Yes. Okay, and yes, I knit the arms also a little bit longer, I don't know how much, maybe 2 repeats or so, but they are also not go to my hands, and my wrists are free, but I like it because my hands are very cold often, but my body is very warm, and I use my hands to cool me down often, and I'm so much working with my hands, almost everything. Some time ago I I have an issue when I work as a gardener with my hands and my wrist, and I can't use it because it hurts so much. And then I realized I do everything with my hands, all I like and all I need. Yes. That's now. I want to say something about these colors. I think when you knit with this yarn, it's actually it's a sock yarn. I think yes. When you knit in a smaller circumference, then the shifting between the yarn between the colors are more open, and here it's a larger circumference, and you see it on the arms. Here the colors shift wider, and here almost every other row is another color, and that's very I don't know the word in English, bunt, very colorful. And so if I would knit this sweater again, I don't think I will, because if I knit it again, I want to choose a yarn which has a how do you say, when the yarn shifts in a longer distance, yes, and maybe I would choose a uni main color, and so just the dots in this pattern are shifting color. That's a nice idea I found. Yes, all about this now. Okay, that it is a very head-heavy episode, I think. I want to talk about some hats. I knit twice. I knit two. I knit two hats in the last 2 weeks. Yes, I want to talk a little bit of 2 others which I made, because I want to share my learnings. Yes. So this one I knit over 10 years ago. It was felted in the washing machine. I wash it on wool wash program, and but it's my only hat, and I love the shaping. And for over 10 years ago I improvised the pattern, and I made it as I go, and yes, it has some how do you call it, yarn overs, and some texture. I think I knit the yarn overs are for increasing, and then I knit one knit row, one purl row, no, 2 knit rows, 1 purl row. Yes, it looks like so. And I increased on 4 times in the round, but only on one side, so the increase are going this way. Yes, the yarn I don't know. It was a gift from my aunt. When I remember correctly. And yes, I love the shape of it, and I wear it all the time. Yes, it's my own, my only hat. And then I knit some for gifts, some hats. For example, this one for my boyfriend. Yes, it's knit in 2 strands of holst, super soft, and I do a provisional cast on. I don't know how much stitches I cast on, but I know it was over 108 or so, and I used needle size, I think 4.5 millimeter needles, and I like the wool. It is they have a nice color range, and they are processed, but not so much as other wools. They are from Denmark, and yes, this hat I also improvised. I do a provisional cast on and then knit in a tube. And when I find the border is okay, I make a 3 needle bind off, but I knit through 2 layers on 2 needles, and I knit, but I don't bind off. The stitches are right on the needle, and I go on. And yes, then I knit over 2.5 inches longer and decreased very rapidly. On 8 points, on 4 points on each side. Every other row, yes. So it looks like this. But I show you. It was this hat grows so much. It was big when I have finished it, but then I wet blocked it and it grew a lot. So it looks like this. It's like a. I asked my boyfriend what means what is the English word for hood, and he said head. And then I said, but I said to this head, in German it is Mütze, and yet now I'm confused a little bit. But yes, he's fine with it. He has a big head and very poofy hair, so it sits right on top of it, and yes, but his ears are not covered, and that is very important for me when I make a hat, that my ears are covered, because I'm sensitive, and yes. But this shape is so cool for summer actually. We make we go by canoe. Is it the English word? It's a little boat with some pedals, and you do this and go by boat. A little river. In the north of Germany we were, and it was a day trip, and it was a little bit cold, but the sun was shining very, very much. And then I took this in the water, whoop, and on my head, and this covers my head, and I don't. I can be in the sun a little bit longer. Yes. Okay, these ones. Now to the ones that I knit. I have this wool from Vera of Studio Solas in the Netherlands, and I love her work. I talked in the last episode about her a little bit, and this is a very nice color. It's a mix of green, light green and yellow, and yes, this one speaks to me. And my original plan for this was to use this as a contrast color for my Nordiska, which I finished in last episode and talk about it, because the yarn was very different. I think this is a worsted spun yarn. It is very smooth, and all fibers are in one direction, and the main color which I want to use for my Nordiska, that was a woolen spun yarn, Kauni, and it puffs up very, very much, and this won't because it's worsted spun. And yes, so I think I decided to use some other contrast colors. So I have this left, and then I want to make another hat, because I want to have warm ears. And then I found this pattern, and it's the classic ribbed hat also, and by Purl Soho. And yes, it's a long tube. I held the yarn double, and I have not so much left. I think 20 grams or so. Yes, I held a double, and I like the fabric it's created, and the colors also. It's knit with a 4mm needle, I think, on a DK gauge. And yes, I do some modifications. I make a tubular cast on. So the ribbing goes around, and yes, I like this technique. And I knit, you're supposed to knit 9.5 inches for the second of the largest sizes. I made not the largest size, the one under it, and because I have a very big head, I think 58 centimeter circumference. Yes, and it looks like very, very much, so I knitted an inch shorter. But when I wear it, or when I knit it again, I would knit for the full 9.5 inches, because now it fits me perfectly. But here it's very flat, and I like it when it's a little bit looser, yes. Yeah. And something I wanted to say about this. Oh yes. I talk about it in my very first episode, in the last episode. I have problems with casting on a lot of stitches, and I somewhere I have read someone shared a tip, a trick. So I cast on, and after okay, sorry, I'm a little bit after 20 stitches, I place scrap yarn, or you can use a stitch marker, and then I make another 20 stitches, and I count the stitch markers that I need for complete the cast on stitches, and then yes, it was very easy to count. And yes, maybe if you have always problems to cast on a large amount of stitches as me, it was helpful. And another thing that I talked about also in the last episode, I hate to do ribbing on the cuffs and on pullovers and so on. And this one is knit in ribbing, in 1x1 ribbing, and I knit it when we go by car to my mother, which turned 60 for 2.5 weeks ago on the weekend, and it was very nice to see all my aunts and uncles and cousins and friends, and yes. And on the car we changed after half the way. We changed, and on the car I knit, and it goes so fast. And this was an art therapy to heal my fear of do cuffs in ribbing. Yes. And I enjoy it very much, and I wear it. And my boyfriend, he wears so funny. When we are out, he wears them together. It is for more warmth, but I don't. Okay, So another hat. That's very excited. That's very exciting. Oh, I must take something from there. Moment. Oh. Okay, I'm back. Oh, sorry. Okay, maybe I must cut it out. Oh, it was a little bit too hectic. Sorry. Oh, okay. Okay. Almost 1 year ago, I made a head. Because I have a design idea, and yes, I used Retrosaria Pomar, Rosa Pomar yarn, the Vovo yarn, and yes, I like the design very much, but I do too much decreases on a side here, on a part of the head, so it was too big, actually, very big. You can wear it, but it's so slouchy. It's, yes. It's too big, and I like the crown so much. It's so nice, and yes, I want to do this design in another yarn, but I don't found it. And yes, now I have found it. It's there. Okay. So, Henna of Air. You all have heard about them, I know. I think it's a Swedish company, and yes, I have no words to describe this. It is the cloud. This is the colorway from the November collection, Spurja, yes, and it means something you ask for. Yes, and on the pictures it looks a little bit lighter. It's a light aqua on a gray base, I think, and yet yes, it was a little bit too light, so I mixed it with another unspun yarn from Ruth, from Rain, Cloud and Sage. That was a off-white, a very, very light gray, and I held it together, and it worked so well. This is the head. I make it a little bit smaller as the other one, and knit it on a larger gauge, 16 stitches I used, and it turned out as I imagined it, and this was a very special moment for me, because in my childhood and teens and this years, I was very creative, and I have so much visions about something I would want to make, and it turned out not on point. Yes, I was very perfectionistic in these years, but now I don't, and then I get it. It is weird, but yes, it is so nice. It's like wearing a cloud. Oh, and yes, this is the crown. And yes, I make a very detailed notes on this, and yesterday I sit down and graded the head. I make 5 sizes. The first one is a child size, I think, because this is the second size, and I have a relative normal head, I think, normal big head, and yes, I would like to fit it a little bit looser, so someone who has a smaller head than me can wear it this one exactly how I want to fit it me, because yeah, I like it to fit like this, yeah, and I have also a name for it. I don't share the name now, I think, yes. It was so special. And yes, so I must design the pattern. I have the road the instructions of how to do it. I have, but I want to take photos and design the pattern itself so it looks nice when you read it. So maybe my father can help me. He works as a graphic designer. He makes books and magazines and so on. Yes. So if someone of you like the hat and want to knit it, want to test knit it, you can leave me a comment, but I must figure out something. Maybe you can write if you have interest in this, or if you like it, but an official tester call I make in the next episode or so. I must work something out before I do this, yes. But I'm very proud, and yes. Okay. So if you want to knit this not in an unspun yarn, you can use a worsted weight yarn, and I would like to write in the comment, in the pattern, to make the hat in a different gauge, because when you understand gauge, what it and yarn weight and all this plays together, then you can modify your knitting very easily and yes, make the garment or the accessory that you really like. Oh, I want to link you a very, very good video from Lerke of Fiber Tales. She made a video about yarn choice and talks you through yarn weights and how the yarn is constructed, and it was when I saw it the first time, 1.5 or 2 years, 2.5 years ago, maybe. I don't understand very much, and then I learned so much about knitting and yarn and wool, and I looked this video, I watched this video 3 or 4 times, and every time I understand more, and yes, so I will link it in the description box below. Okay, this I have talked about all the hats. Now I have decided that I don't enjoy the last weeks knitting with a very cool yarn, cold yarn, a light yarn. We have snow, and I was feeling this yarn, this rustic and soft and I want to feel warmer. So I decided to leave the DRK Everydaysocks that I talk about in the last episode, to leave it for spring, and the Jessie May top, which I also talk about, I ripped it back because I don't like the fabric with one strand anymore, and so I use another yarn of my yarn collection and use Vera's yarn for another thing. Yes, I have also talked about my little yellow sweater with the blue BFL yarn from Vera, and this I also do after Christmas or later, because I much more enjoy working with a more woolier yarn now, rustic. Yes. So this yarn is from Jule of Wurzeliebe Fiber Studio. She's so lovely. We have some contact last 2 weeks about yarn and sourdough bread and something else, and she's so nice. And yes, because genau, she has another shop update, the last big one for this year, and she made another batch of the unspun of Thrive in 2 new colorways, one brown one beige one, and yes, they are stunning. And so I must get something of it, and I have for the darker one I have a design idea for the skirt, which is also for a very long time in my mind. And for the lighter one I want to knit me a Christmas sweater with her Shetland Romney based in the colorway crimson for the contrast color, and yes, but I don't know if I have enough time, because this is also on my needles. I have talked about in the last episode that I want to cast on the Aftonsol sweater, and I did for my boyfriend for Christmas, and he know that I knit a sweater for him for Christmas, but he doesn't see it. I hide it from him. Yes, and yes, this is knit in Thrive in the colorway Storm Cloud from Meilenstein, and I use it is a DK2 Sport Way gauge. I think 24 stitches per 10 centimeters, and yes, I love to knit with wool. I had a single, and it is so mindful, and it works out very well with the way I knit. I knit English style, and I knit the yarn don't layer on my finger, my index finger. I held the yarn between my thumb and my index finger, and all wrap it around. This is because my mother told me knitting when I'm very young, and my fingers are so little that that it doesn't work out as on her hand. So I take the yarn and wrap it around, and yes, this muscle memory is in, and I do it, and I think in comparison to other knitters I'm slow, but it feels not slow for me. And I also can knit continental. Oh, sorry, there's some construction work. But oh, sorry. Okay. There, I must find another. So, okay. I hope it will stay. Okay. Yes. I don't talk now so much about the pattern because I'm on the body and I must knit 48 centimeters to reach the armholes, and then there's a colorwork section, and there I want to knit with Ruth yarn as a contrast color. It's a very low contrast, but I like it. And yes, to work with the yarn is so joyful. It's so, yes, mindful to feel the yarn going through my hand, and I like it very much. And the fabric it's creating, it's a little bit, the color is a little bit unregular because it's the sheep color, and Yule use different breeds to create this yarn, so it's lovely. Yes. So I want to talk about this more when I am on the colorwork section. Yes. 2 more things. When this weekend was Thanksgiving, and there's the sock knit along from Andrea Mowry, and I cast on DRK Everydaysocks, but in a larger gauge. Yes, I have done it very often for gift knitting, to help 2 yarns double. And oh, sorry, it's very loud. I hope it's okay. Yes, I'm using 1 strand alpaca wool from Drops. I think this was stash yarn. I have cast on a shawl, crescent shaped shawl, but I don't like it alpaca very much in a shawl if you use it on its own, because it's so heavy. It's also very drapey. That's nice for a shawl, but it's so heavy. It's too heavy. And then yes, it's a dark green color, and it has some browns, some lighter greens, and some orange in it. And this one, it's a sock yarn, a normal sock yarn from Lana Grossa. It's a German company as well, and they make commercial yarn. And yes, I don't like the wool very much. That was a gift from many years ago from my aunt. She likes and she knows I knit, and she gifted me very often wool. Yes, but these colors are amazing. I show it to you. So there's an orange, a turquoise, a beige part, a blue part, brown and lilac, and it is very nice. And yes, it feels plasticky to me. It's a normal sock yarn, and I think it's also super wash. But when I held it with a alpaca together, it is very nice, and I use this combination also with the Zauberball Schoppelwolle, very often for gifts, because I have a lot of this alpaca and this yarn in my stash from my mother and my aunt and my grandmother. I have also some wool and stash in my yarn collection, yes. And don't wonder that's a very short cable, because I need the this cable for the head. And yes, I don't finish them. I'm right on the heel turn here. It's what is it called? Fliegel heel. Yes, that's a good heel. Very good heel. And then I was so excited for my head that I let the sock be sock. Yes. I don't like to knit socks very much, but I wear it so often, and so I need to make some socks. Yes, I want to talk. I forgot something. Where is my other head? Here. A little bit of the design process. I have something in mind and try it 1 year before, and it don't turn out how I like it, how I imagine it, and then I thought maybe it's fun to go from the top down, not from the bottom up, and then I can more manage the deep of the head and the construction. But here it's very, very important in the pattern how the decreases look when you go up, and when I go down I must increase, and I don't like it, and so I ripped it all back, and I start from the bottom up and go by looking at this one and make notes and rip back, and so it's a little bit, for me it's because I have not so much knowledge in comparison to maybe Mary Wallen also, who has a lot of years practice in knitting, but I have also a lot of designing, yes. You must understand everything very deep to construct it in your head and figure out how to do it and how it works all together. And when it comes to garments, it's a way important, or a way more important, because yes, it covers our body and they are so different, and yes, but it's also so nice because we are knitters, we can make our own clothes and do whatever we like and what suits us very, very well. Yes. So I have another project which I'm very excited about. This I started last weekend on the first advent, and that's a mystery knit along. I haven't done one mystery knit along in my whole knitting journey, because I really want to know what I make and whether it's sustainable and whether I wear it or not. But this is a special one. This is the Advent Mystery Knit Along, the Mitten Mystery Knit Along by Nina Pomeranki. and she's a lovely designer and human, and we have also a little bit contact, and because she's also a doula, and I am also a doula. I was, yes. I don't practice it because no, another topic. Yes, and so I want to join her mitten knit-along, mystery knit-along, and so it's a little bit like an advent calendar for me because I haven't one in any kind. My boyfriend and I are talking about making one our own and to some get some little nice task for the day, or some lovely words, or some, yes. So but it the 1st of December is in 2 days, and I don't know, we will see. Okay, the mystery knit-along. When you participate in this, and you won't see the pattern, look back, look. How do you say? Don't look at it. But I think there are not so many members. Yes, it's sad. And I decided to make this mitten because Nina, she has all so lovely mitten patterns. I would definitely make the most of it, and they are so nice, and they have little foxes, or pumpkins, or spiders, or birds, and yes, she's very talented, I think. Yes, I show you the color work. I have one cuff, and I use some cords because I use the needles to make the second one. And here I am halfway done through the cuff and the color work, and yes, here she used a Latvian braid. It's a very nice technique, and it's very easy, and looks nice and finished. That's this one, this part. Yes, and I use some wool, mixed wool of my yarn collection. I have the Kauni wool, the Kauni wool. I found out this comes from Estland. Yes, I have worked with this in my Nordiska. And then here, the red one, it's a Shetland yarn, and it's a cherry red. I have purchased it on the yarn festival in Düsseldorf, and this summer. And this is a yarn from a lovely lady, Angelika Schmidt. It is Shetland wool, and she dyed it herself. She's also a spinning. She's also interested in spinning, and sells hand-spun yarn. It's very interesting, and she worked with humans who have a disability, a social worker, and it was a very nice contact. So this is the red one. Then I have Nina. She invite you to have a white, a red and a blue and a little bit of yellow for the mittens, for the motif. And yes, the yellow one, oops, that's a whole super soft yarn in the colorway, the ball band I have inside. Bum, bum. Where does it stand? Gold crest. That's the yarn. Color name. And I am a little bit, yes, I have one left, the blue one. It's a note from Ruth from Rain, Cloud and Sage, and that's merino textile mix, sourced in Germany, the colorway Nightfall. It's a new colorway from this year. It's a deep blue, sky blue, and yes, it's a 2-ply, and this is much heavier. This is more like a sport weight. It has 350 meter of on 350 meter on 100 grams, and Nina, she used Rama Phenol for her mittens, and she suggested it. And I think Rama Phenol has also a little bit, is a little bit thicker than a usual fingering weight yarn. I think it's around about 385 or 375 or so. And yes, this is a little bit bigger, but these ones, especially this one, has more meterage. It is I think 450 meter, and the whole super soft is also light fingering more. It is very light, and the Kauni also. Yes, and also I have the wrong needle size. I have a 2.75, which I use to make the mittens, and she recommends 2.5 millimeter needle, and I also have one 2.25 for socks, and yes, because I am more on the tighter side when it comes to gauge, I choose the 2.75 millimeter needle. Yes, and it looks okay. And the yarn blooms also very much. Okay, yeah, I think it's okay. And I love the pattern, it's so nice. Okay, now I talk this. I think it's not so long as the first episode. I don't look at a clock or so. I was very as I see when I see how long I talk for the first time, I was a little bit I was very wondering. Yes, I want to talk about one thing, and maybe I can knit while I'm doing this. So, I think you knit through I talk and you knit. When I watched podcast episode, I knit always, and I love doing this. I learn so much from other knitters when they share when they share their thoughts and their learnings, and yes. Okay. Okay, I have loosed some stitches, but with an unspun yarn it is no problem, because the yarn stays on his on the place on the yarn stays there where you left it. It grab onto each other and don't move around. Yes. So my boyfriend and me, we were 1.5 weeks ago. We drive to my mother. She turned 60, and it was a lovely experience. She was so nervous and excited like a child. It was so lovely, and all our friends and family were there. We saw us not so much in the last years because of the lockdown and COVID and so on. And yes, that was very nice, and she invited a lot of people to come to her birthday. We were around 30 people, and I am very much an introvert, and maybe there are some of you who can who feel the same when it comes to large groups of people. I like all of them, and I would like to talk to all of them, but in a very big room with many people, I feel so overwhelmed sometimes. Not so much because there are so much expectation from other people to talk about, or to talk to each other, or something else. More on the sense side of the way I feel. My senses are very sensitive, and when there's so much going on, noise wise, emotional wise, visual wise, I'm a little bit overwhelmed, and I react on this very different to what makes me feel good in this situation. The opposite, I think. I am very hyperactive. I'm very active, and I laugh and dance, and it is so much. It is too much. It is too much, and yes. So I talk very much with my boyfriend about it, and I remember a task. When I was a child, someone gave me this task to do in a group with a lot of people, and I want to share it with you, because maybe someone is feel the same as me, and it helps you to feel better in these situations. So our senses are one thing more. I have an education in occupational therapy. I'm an occupational therapist, but I don't work as an occupational therapist because of various reasons. Because I have the education, and I know a lot of these things. I know a lot of how the senses are, how they function in our body, and how we take the environment in us, and how our body interact, and yes, so there's the background. Yes, the situation when you focus on some senses of you inside, maybe your breathing, or your heartbeat, or how you feel your stomach, or how your feet feels, or maybe you focus on your inner emotions. When you have this focus, when you have more focus on some things in you, then your mind and your attention, there's not so much left for the environment, yes, and then you your senses take up not so much of the environment, and let this all this surroundings in you, because your focus is already onto other things. Yes. I'm talking with my hands a lot, and when I'm knitting, I can't. Okay. I hope you understood it. I hope I can explain it well. These things are so clear when I talk in German, but when we have also in our education, we have also English for terms which are used in the medicine, but when you don't use something in your everyday life, you forgot it, and that's a little bit sad, because so much of this education is so interesting, and we learn a lot about our bodies, and yes. So this I want to share with you. And maybe one more. I have joined the Patreon of Caroline of the Nyttig den Jan, Honor och Air, yes. And I have watched some previous episodes. She have started in 2018, and it is so nice to understand where it all comes from. This magic around this yarn, which are the things they what are the things which are built this company. And yes, there's so much knowledge in this episodes about wool and about colors. She's just an artist. She shares some so much things, and they are so inspiring for me. And yes, she's a very interesting person. She has a very sensitive part, and also a very strong part. Yes, that can exist together. It's so nice. Oh. This lamp is making the lamp is not okay, I think. Yes, I will make it off so you don't distract it. Yes, and I have a very deep understanding what wool really is now. Yarn is wool. Wool is the hair of sheep, nothing else. It is like our hair. It covers our body. All over the body we have hair. Some is long, some is short, some we trim, some we grown. And the sheep, yes, they are covered in his hair, in the wool hair, in the sheep hair, and yes. And Caroline, she have a little clip on one of her podcasts, in which she shows how she washes her pullovers, and I was so laugh. It was so nice. She has hang her wool clothes, in a tree while it's snowing, and I was so touched. And it was so real, because it is the same wool which is on the sheep, the hair of the sheep, and they stand all outside when it rains, when it snows, when the wind came, when the sun is there, and because of the lanolin in the wool, all the dirt is washed up when it snows or when it rains. And yes, it's a very natural fiber and natural product. And I think when we see something like this, we can forget what wool is really like, what it really is, and it feels so good. And yes, it was very nice experience. Yes. So now I'm on the end of fiber of yarn which has broken, and I take another strand and lay it over and knit straight on. Oh yes, I think the podcast is no long enough. And I want to show you something more, one last thing more, when I have knitted this. Okay. So I have around about 20 centimeters, and the circumference of this tube is around 108 centimeters. And my boyfriend is very slacksy, small, but he wears large garments, and so I knit 2 or 3 sizes bigger. It is knit on 3mm needles with 1 strand, and yes, I have this 20 centimeter of this circumference, and this is the first plate I use, and maybe that I have used 2/3 or and half, between 2/3 and a half. And yes, unspun yarn is very, it gives you very much meterage, and you can use it for so many purposes. It is amazing, because you can knit it at any gauge you want, in a lighter fabric or denser fabric, if you had 1 strand or 2 strands or 3, and it fills up all the gaps between. When you knit a lighter fabric in a shawl or something, you can knit with 1 strand in a larger gauge, and with 2 plates you get a 2-meter shawl or something. It's fantastic. Yes, and it's so soft, but on a natural rusty way, and I love it. So, oh yes, my plans for the next weeks to Christmas, I want to finish this for my boyfriend, and also I want cast on a Christmas sweater for me, in the new Thrive from Wurzeliebe and the linen colorway, in the light colorway, and it is a Christmassy pattern. I don't know the name, but I tell you in the next episode. It is a pattern from the Petite Knitter, and it is a very nice Christmassy inspired yoke, but not over the top Christmassy. Yes. Yeah. And I would really, yes, and on these mittens, I want to knit every advent, and maybe I finished one sock and maybe another one. My brother asked also for some socks. Yes, we will see. But yes, I feel like I must enjoy the process of knitting, and this changed very much how I feel. So when this feeling changed, I want to knit something else, and I don't have a problem with it, because I know in the future I want to knit the little yellow sweater, because the weather changed and I'm feeling more like to knit with lighter yarn. And yes, so my second episode. Some of you left some comments and liked the video, and yes, I feel so lucky, and yes, I'm very happy to be more involved in the knitting community. And yes, do when you like the hat, please write me. You can also write me if you like this hat. You can also write me on Instagram. There I am also Wurzeliebe. And maybe I link it down. Yes. Yeah. I hope you have a lovely week, and we see us next time.